One of the key barriers to financial freedom is allowing your income to determine your lifestyle. Today's video will go into exactly what this is and how to make sure you're able to be financially free even with this in mind. Hi guys, my name's James Corsia and welcome to the Money Paradox podcast, where we're all about helping you become financially free so that you can focus on what you really want from life. Today's video is all about not letting your income determine your lifestyle. And the main way to do this, if you don't learn anything else from my video, remember this: separate your income from your spending. Both areas are important. Both areas need to be worked on to get the most from it, but you want to be looking at them separately. They are interdependent, and yes, they have an impact on each other. But when we're really looking to improve that area and support us for financial freedom, we want to be approaching them separately. So what does that mean? Well, before I go into that, I'm going to paint the typical picture I see in my clients and so many of those around me. Regardless of someone's income, spending matches their income. Earn £3,000 a month, spend £3,000 a month. Earn £1,000 a month, spend £1,000 a month. The trouble with that is you're not improving your financial situation in time. People often focus on income rather than wealth when they're trying to improve their situation or think about how good their financial situation is. But financial freedom, financial success is determined by wealth, not income. Think about financially successful people, and they will almost certainly be people that have strong wealth and not income. Just because you have a lot of money coming in doesn't necessarily mean you're wealthy and financially successful. Wealth is built up over time. It comes when you take your income, you subtract what you spend, and then what's left is what you save. Those savings accumulate over time to build up your financial wealth. And then with that wealth, you can invest it and make even more money and build your wealth even further. And that is at the core of a strong financial future. But so many people get caught spending all of the money coming in or very close to it. Those that do save often are saving a very similar amount over time. And this comes down to what makes us feel comfortable. We don't like to go outside of our comfort zone. So picture the person that likes to have savings. They'll build up to what that level of savings makes them feel comfortable. And as they get to that level, they'll start to feel comfortable, relax, and start to spend more and reduce how much they save. As those savings potentially dwindle or go down, they'll start to feel uncomfortable again, save more, and go back to that level. But savings never really go up much in the future. Maybe a little bit, or maybe kind of remain static. The opposite are people that tend to be able to get into debt while still feeling comfortable. They reduce the amount of money they have till it becomes negative, and it starts to track downwards. At a point, that person will start to feel uncomfortable. Some people, that uncomfortableness gets it only really triggers when they cannot borrow anymore. They're at that red line. Others, it's a smaller amount of debt. But as that person starts to feel more uncomfortable, they start to pay off that debt, get back up to a more manageable level until they start to feel comfortable again. That starts to reverse and the debt starts to increase, and so on. So people tend to just fluctuate around a certain level. And this really is such a barrier to financial success because it's not allowing you to track upwards towards a strong financial future in time. So how do we solve this? Well, we take spending and income and we separate it. We do not allow our income to drive how much money we spend. If we do start to earn money and increase how much we make, yes, we may increase our spending, but it's more of a lag and it's smaller relative to how our income goes up. So what we want to do is look at both of these sections separately and think about what's the best way to do that, to maximize our enjoyment, our value in this life, while also maximizing our longer term, our medium term objectives too. So spending. First, we want to think about what's actually available to spend. So take your income, subtract tax and so on. What's available? And then within that, what are our short, medium and longer term goals? So in the immediate term, it's covering our bills, having some money to do some fun stuff, right? Maybe give to our family, charitable donations, whatever it is. But equally important is what's important for us in the medium and the longer term. What do we want in the future? Do we want to go on a holiday this year or next year? Do we want to relocate and there's going to be costs around that? Do we want to have an emergency fund in case we get ill and we want costs around that? What about our financial future? Do we want to build a stronger wealth position so that in the future we can live off less income, or maybe even be truly financially free and not actually have to work? Well, these things are also an important point around what we spend. So for us to be able to save for the future, we need to be spending less now. So bearing all of that in mind, I would encourage you now or after this video, start to think about what your short, medium and longer term goals, and think about what's available to spend and separate that out. Some of the key categories to think about are: one, what are your necessities? So your bills coming out each month, the things you have to pay each month. Okay, one area. Two, how much money do you want each month to be able to have fun with, to go out and do things just purely for enjoyment? These are really important. For some people, they overdo this area. Others, they underdo it. They don't spend enough in this area. It's about balance when it comes to money. Third, what about charity? Donating to those that you don't know, or family, or friends, or important organizations that mean something to you. How much money do you want to be parking there? Fourth, what about saving for longer term spending? So for example, a big holiday that you planned, or maybe some medical bills that you think may be coming up or you want to protect against in the future. And then lastly, your financial freedom account, money that you save over time to be able to go towards a stronger financial future. If you aren't sure about this area and you want to understand more, feel free to check out my other videos on this. This is so important, and I highly encourage everybody works towards that position. So there are some of the key areas you want to work on. If you want to go into more detail, great, do that, but they are the kind of non-negotiable areas. Once you work that out and you work out how much you want to be spending in these areas, automate it. So do it in a way so that your bank account, as the money comes in from your income or wherever, it can go into these areas automatically and you know how much you've got available to spend. So whatever's on that card, for example, that's how much you have to spend this month on having fun, for example, and you don't overspend or underspend in some of these important areas. So that's spending. Last thing I'll say is, if your income is all over the place and it's not clear how much money you have available to spend, then what you need to do is take an average. Take 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, and work out on a typical month how much you have available. If you're really unsure or concerned that you're going to get it wrong, just be a little bit conservative. Reduce that number so that if it comes up a little bit higher, great, you've got some flex, and if not, you're still okay. You're not overspending in the categories you've assigned. So that's spending, okay? When it comes to income, income is super important. There's only so far you can go with spending, right? If you earn £2,000 a month and 1,000 of that is necessity, you cannot avoid spending it. The maximum you can possibly save each month is £1,000. That's a lot of money, but it's not going to get any further. It's like a brick wall, right? You can't pass that £1,000 mark. And that's with being very strict with spending on enjoyment and fun and so on. So to really get kind of turbocharge your financial success, you want to also be looking at your income. How do you maximize your income? Really important. And I've got videos on this, so you can go check that out. And it's all about really thinking about, well, how do I add more value where I'm currently working? Or could I add more value doing what I'm doing at the moment in a different industry where there's more money going around? Or could I move into a new completely sector, a new area where I can add value because I'm better at that area, or that area is more in demand, for example. Whatever it is, I highly encourage really thinking about, how do I make more money by adding more value? Because even if you go to work and you're getting paid by hour, or you're getting a salary regardless what you do, it may not seem like it when you're getting paid the way you're getting paid. But trust me in that the money you get is a direct reflection of the value you are providing. You may not agree with that value exchange, but that is the reality, because that's how that employer is justifying how much they pay you. If you don't feel that's fair, then maybe another company will be more fair in terms of that value exchange. But the best way to get paid more, to earn more, is to add more value. And you can do that by working harder, but you could also do it by working smarter, or working in an area where what you're doing adds more value in this world. But either way, as your income increases, it's really important in advance to have a think, what am I going to do with that increased income? Because if you don't have a plan, somebody else will have a plan for you. And usually that results in that person taking your money. Now, that might not seem obvious, it might sound a silly thing to say, but that is true. Someone is always in control. If you're not in control, someone else is taking that control. And so if more money comes into your life and you don't have a clear view of how you want to spend that money, things will come into your life. Family, friends, shops, work, and they will drive their agenda to extract that money from you. And that is why, if you don't go in with a clear view of how you want to manage those increases in income, the money just flows through your fingers. And sometimes you're like, it's like these things just suddenly come out of nowhere just as I make more money. That's how it might feel, but that is what's going on behind the scenes, the psychology of it. So if you want to be maximizing those increases in income, have a plan before it comes. So for example, if I make £500 a month more from a promotion, how am I going to spend that? I'm going to spend 2/3 of that increase into my financial freedom account, because I want to use those increases to build a stronger financial future for myself. That last third, what I'll do is I'll allocate that into all the other areas, so I'll improve that. I'll have a bit more for my necessities, so I've got a better quality of life, a bit more for having fun, so I can feel like I'm getting a benefit from the hard work that I've done, a little bit more on my long-term saving spending so I can get a little bit better holiday, a little bit more for philanthropy, to the things that are important to me. Whatever it is, that's an example. Only you know how you want to apply it in your own life. And the last thing is, if you think about increases in income, yes, it can improve your lifestyle, but it should be a lag. It should be a while after you get that increase, and a smaller increase than the increase in the income. And if you do that, trust me in that you will be in a much stronger place. And it is much easier to deal with those changes when they first come in than afterwards. Because very quickly, once you start spending that money, it will feel great the first few months, but you will get used to it. And it will just feel like normal like before. You might feel a little bit better, but it will just become normal. And you, generally speaking, people don't feel that much better off unless you're on really, really low incomes. And that's a different situation. So there you have it, guys. If you want to avoid one of the most common barriers to financial freedom, do not let your income determine your lifestyle. Separate income and spending. Work on how to maximize the amount of enjoyment you get from your spending. And when it comes to income, focus on improving that, because it absolutely improves your financial future. But when it comes to then having a knock-on impact on your spending, allow it to lag and not increase by the same amount. Guys, I hope you found this useful. If you did, feel free to give me a like and subscribe to find out my future videos. I release one each week on all manner of topics, all with the aim of helping you become financially free. Guys, that's all from me. I'll see you soon.